Mekhi Becton is back. Well, kind of. We'll talk about it. Hey, what's going on? I'm Matt O'Leary, back with another video, and today I'll be talking about Mekhi Becton's return and how it's a return, but also not really at the same time. We'll talk about it. Before we get started today, I just wanted to mention you can follow on social media at Matt O'Leary NY. If you haven't already, please make sure to check out the Just Jets podcast, wherever it is that you check your podcast. You can also join up for Patreon and get bonus New York Jets content over there. It's a lot of fun. Check it out. We have a new episode of Exit 16 West coming out on Thursday evening. So Mekhi Becton has joined the team at mandatory minicamp, and people like myself breathed the sigh of relief. I hate the storylines that go with Mekhi Becton, and it was good to see him back with the team. He was in uniform. Like, these things are really, really good. We like to see it. We're excited to see it for 2022, but it's not a full return because he will not be on the field in mandatory minicamp. They're kind of bringing him back slowly, and the expectation is for him to be on the field in training camp. Now, if we get to training camp later next month and he's not on the field, then at that point, I think it's okay to say, yeah, it's time to be concerned about Mekhi Becton. But right now, I'm not. It's kind of similar to what they're doing with Carl Lawson, bringing him back slowly. Granted, they had two different injuries. One was Achilles, one was a knee. But moral of the story is they're bringing these guys on slowly. And the anticipation is that he's going to be able to go in training camp and compete with George Fant in order to win the left tackle spot. My guess, and I've talked about this before, but my guess is that George Fant will be playing left tackle and Mekhi will be playing right tackle. It's not impossible for Mekhi to win the left tackle job, but I just think with the job that George Fant did last year, we are probably more likely to see him come out with that win, so to speak, at the left tackle spot. Now, as always, you're going to see the same group of people who have always kind of been the Mekhi Becton detractors come out and say that, oh my God, this guy's never going to be ready. He's lazy. He's always hurt. And the list goes on and on and on. And they'll point to the original, like the Jets put out a timeline where it's like 4 to 6 weeks. That was always unrealistic for that injury. I think they completely botched that. Now, to be fair, did Mekhi last year do everything in his power to be the healthiest? You can maybe make the case that he didn't. I think maybe you say, okay, both guys have a little bit of blame here, or both sides have a little bit of blame here to the whole situation. But moral of the story is I think everyone, or at least you should be excited to see him back on the field at some point this year. I know I am, because once you see him back out mauling guys, you're going to get the flashbacks to 2020 and what he did as a rookie. Obviously, 2021 was a lost season. It was disappointing, but the talent is there. And I think if you pair him on the right side with Elijah Vera-Tucker, that has the potential to be very, very good. A 1-2 punch of the two young guys, and then you have the two vets on the left side. Or if you mix and match, that's fine too. But specifically with ABT, I think he's going to be fine moving over to the right side from the left side because he did it in college. Mekhi Becton played both tackle spots in college too. Again, I think he'll be fine in that regard. I'm not worried about him. George Fant wasn't there for the voluntary workouts, I'm assuming due to the contract dispute, but that wasn't really as publicized because, well, the bigger story is Mekhi Becton not being there and missing time. Again, here, I think I'm just going to preach patience. I'm not worried about it right now. I think, as I said earlier in this video, if we get to the point of training camp and Mekhi Becton is still unable to get on the field, then that's a different story. They've obviously also showed interest in Riley Reif, who was with the Cincinnati Bengals last year. He played left tackle for the Minnesota Vikings for the 4 years prior to last year. I think that would be a wise decision to sign him and bring him in at that point, at this point, really, actually, because they need a swing tackle. Last year, they got really lucky that they brought in Morgan Moses, and they got a high-quality starter at that point in the offseason. Now, is Reif a high-quality starter? I don't think I would say he's a high-quality one, but he has a ton of starting experience, and he's okay. He's fine. He's not going to be a starter on a phenomenal offensive line with the Jets have a chance to be this year, but as your first offensive tackle off the board, you would feel, or off the bench, you'd feel a lot more comfortable with that than a fourth-round rookie or Chuma Edoga or Connor McDermott. So we talked about that earlier in the week, or maybe last week at this point, and I think that's an appropriate signing. But with Mekhi specifically, he is back. which is the most important thing, that he's here, he's in New Jersey, he's with his team, and I'm excited to get him out there, and I'm excited to support him, and I think you guys should be too. Let me know in the comments down below what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for tuning in. Subscribe if you're new. Give the video a thumbs up. I'm Matt O'Leary, and I'll talk to you next time.